The Making of a Sire. Flying Cowboy 123. On the previous episode of Making of the Sire, the AQHA champion Flying Cowboy 123 had come away from his 4th place finish in the Grade 1 Ruidoso Derby to run a bit of a flat effort in his next start to finish 2nd in the Rainbow Derby trial, with a time that it was not fast enough to qualify him into the field.
You know, they're hard to win, Greg. Everybody knows that. You know, and we've been blessed here these past few years on winning more than a handful of them. And they just, you know, they're hard to win. You know, you ask anybody, that's their dream, to win the All-American, to win the Texas Classic, these $1 million races, the Ruidoso, the Rainbow, the Los Al 2 million. And for that to happen, not only do you have to have a good horse, you have to have a good team. And it all boils down, it starts with the owners, of course, when they purchase the horses, and the trainer breaking them, and the assistant trainers like me, and the grooms that take care of them on a daily basis. The grooms don't get a lot of credit sometimes, Greg. You know, but them guys, they fall in love with them horses when they take care of them. And, man, them horses, they just know them grooms personally. And, boy, when you take care of a horse like these grooms do that work for me, it just makes my job a whole lot easier.
Although there was disappointment from the failure to qualify into the Rainbow Derby looming with the connections of Flying Cowboy 123, the demand from the breeding operations to secure his place at their farm for the 2020 breeding season was very high, and it was determined that his path for the breeding shed would be decided prior to the All-American trials.
Well, we got into some serious talks, I guess, right after Rainbow, about Rainbow time. And I had never met Mr. Lieber. So most of my talking went through Dr. Rigby until the point that they came to Bob Moore Farms midsummer to look at the farm and look at our facilities. And they also went to a couple other farms to look at facilities. And that was when the real negotiations started, was midsummer before the All-American.
Well, there were a lot of farms that were interested in him. You know, most of the major farms in the country, and were interested in this horse because of the way he's bred and because of how he's performed, his pedigree, his looks, and everything. You know, he's kind of the whole package of what could be the next big freshman sire out there. And so, yeah, everybody around pretty much wanted this guy. We wanted to put him in a place that was a good fit. And Tom and I, Mr. Leeper and I, visited several farms, and we were real impressed with what we saw, but decided that Bob Moore Farms was the fit for this horse. It's a little bit of a smaller organization as far as number of stallions that they stand there. I love their facilities. I think their care is excellent, and being a veterinarian and having dealt with them for years in the past, they're very customer friendly as far as trying to get you good semen. Their knowledge is great. They know how to ship semen. You can just depend on them to do a good job, and we felt like that was a great fit for this horse.
And I just think that this is the type of horse that will produce. I mean, he's got a good mind on him. He's got the right conformation. If he passed that on, we're going to have some winners, stakes winners out there.
With his breeding career path set, the objective of getting the son of apolitical Jess back on track in his 3-year-old season to qualify in the 2 remaining targeted derbies was the focal point of his connections.
After his disappointing non-qualifying effort in the Rainbow Derby trials, we started getting him ready for the All-American Derby trials, and the horse was doing good. We had about 6 weeks to get him ready for that, and sure enough, the horse was just training good, doing awesome, and I was just looking forward to riding him in the All-American Derby trials.
In the All-American Derby trials, Flying Cowboy 123 drew into the first trial race of the day. The weather was clear and the track was fast for the first of the 12 trial races for this Grade 1 event.
They're running. Flying Cowboy 1, 2, 3 got a flying start. Is being chased by Silverback Corona and then followed up by Tromboli, then a diagonal line. Next comes Generator, then at the rail first Silk-V. Flying Cowboy 1, 2, 3 on his game. Flying Cowboy 1, 2, 3 romps.
Flying Cowboy 123 with jockey Ricky Ramirez in the iron scorched the racetrack in the very first trial race to post a time of 21.299 seconds for the 440 yards, good enough to be the third fastest going into the finals, and also showing his affinity for the added distance as he had qualified into his fourth Grade 1 event at 400 yards or greater.
All-American Derby trial, I thought that was the best race he's run today. He blew him away. He ran perfect. I was elated. A very, very fast time. He was. I thought that's the best race he's ran up to date, and was very elated. I was so pleased getting the All-American Derby because that's the pinnacle of the 3-year-olds. You know, it's the biggest derby in the country, and he ran great. I was really proud of him.
All-American Day of 2019 saw torrential rain that made the racing surface at Ruidoso to be a sloppy, sealed racetrack come post time for the Grade 1 event. The connections of the Grade 1 winning AQHA champion 2-year-old colt Flying Cowboy 123 were looking for some redemption on the mountain in Ruidoso, on the grandest of stages for a 3-year-old in the quarter horse racing business, the All-American Derby. Jockey Ricky Ramirez had qualified 3 runners in the Grade 1 event and chose to ride Tools in the Sky, leaving Flying Cowboy 123 to pick up the riding services of Tanner Thetford for the finals.
They're running in the All-American Derby, a beautiful break, and it is Flying Cowboy 1, 2, 3. American Hustle, Flash and Roll got away good, drifting in now. Rusty's Miracle along the inside. Valiant Tiberius is putting in a run. Outside, Just Macho Corona still wide open. Valiant Tiberius trying to run down Rusty's Miracle outside. Here comes Just Macho Corona. Maybe Rusty's Miracle. Outside, Just Macho Corona. Between them, Flying Cowboy 1, 2, 3 and Valiant Tiberius, a blanket finish in the All-American Derby.
A third place finish in the All-American Derby in the slop on the mountain. Bob Moore Farms in Norman, Oklahoma is proud to announce the arrival of their prize package. The hottest sire prospect of 2019 has left the racetrack and arrived at Bob Moore Farms. The sensational Flying Cowboy 123. Fresh off of a win in the 2019 edition of the Texas Classic Derby, with only 3 horses in history to have won both the Classic Futurity and the Derby.
Cowboy 1, 2, 3 won the Texas Classic Futurity and now Derby.
Standing at Bob Moore Farms in Norman, Oklahoma, Flying Cowboy 123.